Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to today's podcast. My name is Adlet Sarkis, and I will be representing Group 3 as well as my other colleagues on the call. We'll be talking about two beautiful leadership case studies. And we're starting off at the first case study, which is titled Tender Giants and Shepherd's Code. I'm quite sure you can decipher what we might be talking about, but it's really about the story of a gentleman called David and his role as a leader in a youth ministry, and just talking about his leadership style and how he really tackled the level of resistance in the ministry he was in, and just having a mindset of purpose, trust, and servanthood across his journey. Just to buttress on the topic, I'm going to be calling on my colleague, Mrs. Appy, to just really give us an understanding of what she thinks throughout the story and the case study, what leadership traits account for Pastor David's success.
Good morning, afternoon, evening, following the greetings. Afi Badamose. So I'm talking about Pastor David's traits. So first of all, he had a strong determination to succeed. So even though he faced resistance, in the face of all that opposition from the long-standing members of the church, and we know that a lot of people are quite opposed to change. So, and it was against the culture of the church, but he was determined to succeed. So that did not deter him, and he went ahead to share his vision with them and put things in place. And lo and behold, the vision or the ministry thrived and the ministry flourished. Another trait he showed was his confidence. He believed he could do it, because sometimes leaders can doubt themselves, but he believed he could do it. And he used his strength-based ability. He used that, using his own strength and the strength of the people he was working with, and he was able to succeed. Another trait he showed was his sociability. Even though he was demanding, he introduced some humor and lightheartedness. So in the face of when there was intense uh, ministry, or when people were probably stressed, he was able to introduce that lightheartedness and introduced a warmth that enabled people to continue with what they had to do, and everything worked out. Okay, so I'm going to ask my colleague Oyin to, how would you describe Pastor David's leadership abilities?
Thank you, Mrs. Afi. I would say that Pastor David's leadership abilities can be summarized into like five traits. So the first one was unity and teamwork, which was evidenced by how he did the Unity Week, and how we ensured that people were bonding and people were having like spiritual renewal and service, and how we also ensured that people understood that they were working towards towards a greater mission. So it fostered like unity and teamwork. It also fostered ownership and leadership by example, because he demanded it of the people who worked for him and who were working together with him. So, and I'm a believer that you don't ask for what you don't have. So he probably had shown ownership and leading by example. He also was an open communicator. He was into open communication in the sense that he created an avenue for people to give praises and also for people to talk about anything that were like to raise content, etc. He also was a caring leader. He was a leader that people could come to for guidance and support during tough times. And then finally, he was into building relationships, both ultimately with God and also with people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Oyin. So we'll move on to, sorry, um, my apologies. We'll move on to Osato to tell us We know leadership includes administrative skills, interpersonal skills, and conceptual skills. So, how would you say Pastor David was able to stack up on these skills?
Thank you very much. I would say that Pastor David had a strong balance of all skills. For the administrative skills, we saw that Pastor David effectively organized and managed the youth ministry. He organized programs like the Unity Week and the weekly devotions. He was also able to delegate tasks, set expectations, and foster accountability amongst the team, which shows the organizational and planning skills. For the interpersonal skills, his approach was very rational. He built a culture of unity, teamwork, and open communication. And for this, Pastor David was able to foster trust and collaboration amongst the team. He was also able to curb early resistance and provide some spiritual guidance, as well as use humor to connect the team, which shows his emotional intelligence and people management skills. And for conceptual skills, Pastor David was very clear of the vision for the ministry, and his ability to implement long-term strategies to achieve this vision was clear. He also focused on building relationships rather than completing tasks. So he saw the big picture in his thinking. So overall, I would say Pastor David had a well-rounded leadership style.
Thank you very much. Okay, we'll move swiftly on to Victor, who is going to tell us how Pastor David was able to integrate the task and relationship behavior in his leadership. Please
Hello, good
unmute
evening.
yourself.
Can you hear me? All right, good evening. Thank you so much, Mrs. Happy, for this opportunity. I really appreciate. I would like to speak briefly regarding some leadership traits of Pastor David as in our case study, case one. He had broadly his traits are divided here into two: the task behavior and the relationship behavior. Under the task behavior, what I can say about this, he's actually a visionary leader who, amidst all of the adversaries at the beginning of his ministry, he was able to overcome all of this and put up something very meaningful at the end. He was a motivator. He was able to motivate his followers. And we could see in the story how there was a weekly activity, devotions that he put together to teach his youths. And going down to the relational part of his leadership skill, he's a strong team builder. He is a strong team builder. He encourages his team. Even amidst all the adversaries, he was able to encourage his team. He was able to manage people, bring up leaders. If we see here in the story, there were categories of leaders he brought up: the categories of the senior leaders, the junior leaders, and the people who are new members. Who he was able to categorize everybody. This one lead this, and the other one lead that. And he was able to bring up leaders that would even take after him. And in the story, we could see that he is a very caring and empathic leader. So to put all of this together, Pastor David, integrating these tasks and behavioral skills, Pastor David created an environment where youths can thrive, and he maintained a balance to achieve goals and nurturing strong interpersonal connections, ensuring both spiritual and practical aspects of the ministry is addressed. So, in summary, I would say Pastor David was able to harmonize, to balance both the relational and the task behavior by bringing up the youth. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Victor. So we'll move on to Martha. Martha, from the relational perspective, how would you describe Pastor David's leadership? I know we've talked a lot about it, but you can.
Yeah, good evening. So I'm going to talk briefly about Pastor David. And we've talked a lot about him. And I'll just say that Pastor David, let's If Pastor David had used, or let me say, Pastor David used the laissez-faire leadership style, because if he had used the authoritative style, I'm sure he wouldn't have achieved his success. And if he had used the democratic leadership style also, he would have opened the door to everybody saying, bringing different opinions and all that. He would have not also achieved that leadership style. I mean, that's success that he was able to achieve in his ministry. So Pastor David, regardless of the resistance, the members not agreeing to his vision, he was determined to succeed. He was ready to solve the problem on ground. And also, like I said earlier, he used the democratic and the authoritative means or leadership style to achieve success. And the reason why I said this is because if he was authoritative, I believe that the success of the ministry wouldn't have been achieved if he was authoritative. So that was why, if you notice from the reading, I mean, from the case study, it was more of encouraging. He was encouraging them to do things. He wasn't forcing them to do things. He encouraged them to do things so that they will achieve the mission of, or the vision of the ministry. And if he was too loose in terms of, if he had used the democratic leadership style also, he would have opened the door to different opinions, different people bringing their opinions, and it would have slowed down either his decision-making process, which also wouldn't have achieved that result that he got. So he was diplomatic enough to be authoritative. I mean, when I mean authoritative, he was firm, because I believe if he wasn't firm, he wouldn't have achieved what he achieved. So he was firm in his decision. He was firm in his in delegating, and he was also using the empathy aspect, the emotional aspect, the friendly aspect, the team bonding aspect, to bring everybody together to work in one mind, in one vision, to achieve success in the ministry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martha. So now we'll move to Cheta. So in what way does Pastor David's ministry exemplify leadership as an influence process?
All right, good evening, everybody. So I would say Pastor David ministry exemplifies leadership as an influence process by guiding, inspiring, empowering others to work towards a shared mission. Despite the initial resistance from his team, he remained committed to his vision, gradually winning everybody over, to making them see that they were engaged, they had teamwork, and there was spiritual mentorship. And by establishing Unity Week, regular devotionals, and leadership roles, he made some people senior leaders, and he made some people junior leaders, gave everybody duties. So this also foster a good culture of accountability, collaboration, faith-driven service, influencing his team not through authority, but through example, encouragement, and shared responsibility. His ability to balance high expectations with care and support ensures that his leadership extends beyond task completion and to personal and spiritual growth, which actually demonstrates a transformative power of leadership through influence.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to hand you over now to Tunde, who is going to sort of summarize all those things that we've been saying so that it kind of makes sense. Like my children will say, let it make sense. So Tunde is going to give us a brief summary of everything we've just said regarding Pastor David's ministry.
Thank you very much. And I think we've all said quite a lot of important things. But if I'll summarize, I would say, just like we've all said, Pastor David, faced resistance at first. But one thing that was sure is that he stayed true to his vision, in building a close-knit, spiritually strong youth group, and focused on unity and teamwork, through things like Unity Week, regular check-ins, and empowering leaders at all level. It created a culture of support and accountability and genuine connection. Its caring and warm approach, also combined with focus on relationship with God and each other, turned the youth group into a vibrant and a thriving community. Thank you.
Amazing. And I guess this is where we hand over to case study 2.
Over to you, Miss Mary and her team.
Gladys is starting. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. I'm Amandu Gladys, and I'm here to summarize the leadership journey of Jessica. Jessica's leadership journey. I can say that Jessica's leadership journey actually started it was a quiet beginning. She started as a leader of a small team at a tech firm. Though initially she was facing skepticism, as in like there was a doubt, but at the end of the day, she was able to get what she needed to do done. And then she also has an unconventional approach. She focused on transforming her team from within, leading with authenticity, integrity, and commitment to serve others. She is a person that has a listening ear, and then she has this love within her. She has an empathy. She invested time in understanding her employees' values, challenges, and their aspirations. She also has this strategic humility in her. She empowered her team to lead decisions, trusting them with responsibility and authority. Jessica is someone who is whose values are driven. She has values-driven decision making. She led her team through challenging times, prioritizing honesty, compassion, and integrity. She didn't just go into what the world was doing. She didn't buy their jargons, but she actually came out as a Christian character. Then the outcomes of her kind of leadership. She has a high-performing team. Jessica built a team that's excelled in innovation and respect. She has positive cultural impacts. She redefined success in the marketplace, prioritizing values and integrity. She influenced, and she had a good influence and then in repetition. Jessica became an influential leader known for her commitment to doing business with integrity. And this is the key takeaways. She was an authentic leader. She has an authentic leadership trait. Jessica led with authenticity, integrity, and a commitment to serve others. She also has a strategic humility. She empowered her team to lead decisions, trusting them with responsibility and authority. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful summary, Sister Gladys. I'm going to come back to you again and ask you to tell us in a few words, right, what leadership traits accounted for Jessica's success as a leader. You can just, I know you've already mentioned it, but you can just give us maybe bullet points, what you think exemplified her as a successful Christian leader in the marketplace. Thank you, Sister Gladys.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Her leadership trait for success as a Christian leader in the marketplace can be attributed to the following leadership traits. I can bring everything up, sum it up to like four traits that led her to be successful in the marketplace. One is authenticity. Earlier on, I said that she led with integrity. She was staying true to her values and her faith. Then another one is empathy. She invested time in understanding her employees' personal values, challenges, and their aspirations. And she also has this strategic humanity traits within her. She empowers her team to lead decisions, trusting them with responsibility and authority. And then the last one is that she values decision. She's a value-driven decision-making person. That's the trait. She prioritizes honesty, compassion, and integrity in all her decision-making, which actually made her to be the best in the marketplace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Gladys. So I'm going to hand us over to Brother Moses, or Mr. Moses, who will describe to us what Jessica's leadership abilities in the marketplace are. Can you, in a few words, Mr. Moses, tell us what her marketplace leadership traits or abilities are? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. And good evening, good morning, good evening, wherever you are listening from. Okay, I will speak about leadership ability in the marketplace. I will first of all say that her authenticity leader, she was authenticity leader because she used her leadership to reshape the culture by leading with authenticity, integrity, and unwavering commitment to serve people. And secondly, I would say that Jessica, she was a visionary leader, and she also impart her team. She was able to sell her vision and also equip our team and educate our team, empower our team, and also allocate responsibilities, to our team based on their areas of strength. Then thirdly, I would say that she was resilient. She was resilient because she was able to lead our team through storm when
Well, I think we might have lost Mr. Moses. Without wasting time, I'm going to jump to Sister Eleljo. Can you tell us, how does Jessica integrate tasks and relationship behaviors in her leadership?
Okay, thank you so much, Mary, for that question. I would say Jessica didn't just get into the organization and hit the ground running to get immediate results. She, first of all, studied her team members, their challenges, their personal goals to ensure that they're in line with company goals before delegating tasks. And that's a way of integrating the relation and the task behaviors. So she didn't just delegate tasks to different people without knowing their strengths and their weaknesses. Because she had taken time to study the team members and also know what their strengths and their weaknesses are, she was able to delegate tasks properly, guiding them and also trusting that they will make the right decision, stepping back, not necessarily trying to be in their faces, trying to force down her own ideologies to them. She ensured that they were able to carry out decisions effectively based on that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for that response, rather. Sister Ajuma, please tell us, from a relational perspective, how would you describe Jessica's leadership?
So thank you, Mary. So I would like to, describe Jessica's leadership in a number of ways. One is servant leadership. I think her leadership approach was to prioritize service to others. I would say it was more or less like a people-first approach, that focused on building trust. So Jessica was able to win the trust of her team members and then, foster growth and create a positive impact. Another way I would like to describe her leadership is it was empathetic. She led from a place of empathy, right? She took the pain to, invest time to understand the personal challenges, the aspirations, and even the motivations of her team members, right? If we remember what we were taught in course 1 about the 4 domains of strength-based leadership, there were a couple of things that were highlighted. One was influencing, and also another was relationship building, just influencing, being able to sell an idea or a vision to others that they're able to run with, relationship building, just to get people together and create that synergy. So we see Jessica, being able to do that because she was able to lead from a place of empathy. There's a saying that I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with. It says that, people don't care how much you know, but they want to know how much you care. So we see Jessica demonstrate that. And then finally, I would like to describe Jessica's leadership as transformational. So we see that she came into an organization and she was able to turn the ordinary things that, her team members did into something extraordinary. And then, of course, we were told at the end of that case study that her department was more or less like the most innovative and respected, not because of the profits they were bringing or making, or they were generating, but because of the way Jessica was able to lead. So those are the number of ways I would like to describe Jessica's leadership.
Excellent. Those were just beautiful answers. And thank you so much, everyone. I will hand us back to Mr. Pascal, who will kind of give us a summary and an overview of everything we've spoken about in case 1 and case 2. Mr. Pascal?
Okay. I would say for me, for Jessica's leadership was exceptional. Is a leadership we need to emulate. We need to imbibe in our life. Is a leadership we need to look at and align ourselves towards it and see how we can work with people, because she was someone who had this undeniable strength. No matter the challenges, circumstances, she was pushing through. Didn't allow circumstances, difficulties to affect the value of the business she's doing. And one of the things that struck me about Jessica was that no matter the challenges, her aim was to do business God's way.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pascal. Such beautiful answers, such innovative answers, such to Mr. Adelet, who will close us out nicely. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you all for joining today's podcast. I hope you've learned 1 or 2 or even 3 things today about leadership and different leadership styles from the story of the minister, David, and Jessica as well. We've had an amazing time working on this project and podcast, and hope to see you soon. Thanks again, and take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye.
Bye.